Hey there, Patriots. This is True Outlaw Patriot coming at you with another one. The video clip I'm about to show you was put out about 4 days ago by Fox 5 in New York. And it's a short interview by these two news reporters. They're giving basically Eric Adams like a short 9-minute interview. And he says some things on here that I'm very surprised the mainstream media is not jumping all over it, which it doesn't surprise me. But the reason why I say that I'm surprised they didn't jump on it was because of something that he said, which makes me wonder exactly how complacent, and I'm going to use that word because a lot of you know that I always say that a lot of these people, these Democrats, they're not complacent. They know exactly what they're doing. They just act as if they're complacent. But it seems, okay, that he used some words in this interview, and it makes me wonder, like, was he really complacent using these words without realizing what he said? And where's the blowback? Because there are certain words that leftist officials don't want people to be using. So now my question, is why now? Why all of a sudden, and why only for certain instances? And I'll show you what it is when we go through the video, because it just blew my mind. And like I said, this came out 4 days ago, and either nobody caught it, or some people did catch it, and they're trying to keep it hush hush, so like that it doesn't get blown out of proportion. But me personally, I'll be honest with you, with the way elections go and with the way people get voted in and voted out, if anybody on the right, who is truly, or even on the left, because there are people on the left that are very upset with what's going on, especially with the illegal immigration, they should use it. They should use it to run it as part of their campaign and not give up on it until, it's just all over the place, okay? And basically, Adams gets voted out, Kathy Hochul gets voted out, and let it go on and on and on. That's just the way I see it. Okay, but before I continue, a couple of quick things. I just want to thank all my new subscribers and all my subscribers here on YouTube and on Rumble. So don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, pass the channel around, give it a thumbs up always, put your notifications on. I've been hearing a lot of people saying that they're not, even with the notifications, they're not getting the notification. Also, last night after checking my subscription count, it says that this morning or late overnight, 2 more people subscribed after watching the video I put out last night. So thank you so much. I just don't know who you are, because my subscription count is basically still the same since Friday. I don't know what's going on. Some of you are saying that when you click on my videos, it shows a lower view count from what I see on my end. So I don't know if it's because it's the weekend. I'm hoping that's what it is, because I'm just going to throw this out there right quick. As of this morning when I got up, I should have been 4.5 hours short of reaching my 4,000 hours. Okay, and I was all giddy about it. I went to work. I was like, by the time I get home from work, I should have an email or something stating that I am monetized. Okay, I get back home after 7-8 hours, and it seems that instead of me being above the 4,000, over the 4,000 I should say, I actually dropped a couple of hours. So instead of being 4.5 hours to be monetized, now it says that I need 6 more hours, but on the 365 day count, it says I still need about 90 hours. Look, I don't know what's going on. All I know is that I thank everyone for watching my content. Eventually, we'll get there, and hopefully, the channel will be fully monetized, and we can just keep moving forward, okay? Because like I said, this is a movement, This is something that, you know, I felt compelled to do. And if anybody watches my videos, you'll understand why. I've explained it in one of my other videos. But with all that being said, thank you so much. So don't forget, keep watching. Watch the videos in their entirety, and give it that thumbs up, because it really helps with the algorithm. Especially now moving forward, since, you know, we're so close from the channel being monetized, which will be great. It'll be such a blessing. But okay, with all that being said, let's get into this video. It's only a short video. It's only about 9 minutes, so hopefully this is the only video I'm going to show, put my thoughts into it, and I want everyone to pay attention, and especially all my subscribers in New York. I have a very big following of people from New York, but here we go.
Extra police are expected to be in place until the NYPD deploys drones at the end of the month in Central Park.
And Mayor Adams joins us now with the very latest. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Great to be here with you as well.
Starting off with the story that we just read, we're talking about that surge of police presence in Central Park. Wondering how long they're going to be there. I know we might have a little error there covering your face, but talk to us nonetheless. The police presence there, how long will they be there? Because it may not be feasible. You're going to leave yourself vulnerable in other parts of the city. This happened when there was crime in the subway. You surged the subway. So what's the plan with that?
And I'm so happy you stated that, because part of the problems we're seeing is a real decline in the number of people who are enrolling in the police department. And you have a limited number of manpower. What we have been good at doing as social events, special events, parades, we have been really minimizing the personnel to make sure we can maximize coverage when we need to deploy, like the subway in Central Park. And so
okay, let me stop real quick, just so everybody, so you don't lose sight listening to him. Okay, right down here on the ticker in the bottom, it says NYPD overall major crime up 46% in Central Park so far this year. Okay, keep that in mind as you're listening to what Adams has to say. Here we go.
The team is going to be there. Chief Shell has an excellent ability of knowing how do you go in, identify the problem, bring that large number of personnel there to identify and send the right message to stabilize the park. We know what Central Park means to us. It's a symbol as well as a safe haven for many New Yorkers.
I mean, you see this very large police presence, but how long can you actually maintain that kind of manpower? I mean, what happens a week from now, 2 weeks, a month? I mean, are we going to be having so many cops flooding Central Park? How long does this last?
No, not at all. It's called the surge. You identify when you're seeing a bump in crime similar to what we saw in the subway system. Remember, we had that bump in January. We surged the police there, and we now have robberies at the lowest in the recorded history of our subway system. That's similar here. It's a surge. It's a serious.
Yeah, he says that now. There's no robberies on the train system, but yet more and more video keeps coming out of crime on the subways. People being pushed, people being stabbed, people being beat up. Matter of fact, a few people that were dragged into almost situations where they were going to be sexually assaulted. I mean, why does he keep putting out the opposite of what everybody else is putting out? You know, and this is what kills me about the Democrats. And I've said this before, and I truly mean this. In this age of technology, what the Democrats and the powers that be have forgotten is that as long as there are cell phones, especially cell phones that can record, everybody on this planet that has a cell phone is a self-made journalist. Okay? If you think about it, everyone is a self-made journalist. This is how, you know, it's funny how the left can get video from citizens whenever a bad cop is doing something wrong. They take all that information and it's all, you know, to be used in court and everything's. Thank God that civilian was there, that citizen was there to watch that, you know, that bad cop commit that crime. But yet, when regular civilians out there, citizens are out there recording crimes that supposedly don't exist, and they put out the information right away, all the ones in charge want to denounce all that and say, no, don't believe your lying eyes, listen to what I'm saying, crime is down by this much. Never mind the 300 videos, individual videos that we got of 300 individual crimes that happened in 3 days in one neighborhood. You see what I'm saying? Like, don't believe all that. just believe what I gotta say. Okay, now he's gonna say a couple of other things here that I'm telling you, it just baffles my mind. That's why I had to make this video. I had to make this video and put this out, because he is so contradicting himself. So and leaving out information as if, you know what, as if the crimes that happened, that's the past, when it happened not too long ago, which makes it part of the overall statistic. Okay, it wasn't something that happened 10 years ago. Okay, where he can say, well, that happened 10 years ago. No, he mentioned something, and it's like, wait a minute, but you left out a key part. You're making it seem like that was a one-off, and it's not. But let's continue.
His presence to let those bad guys that may want to frequent the park send a real message that that's not going to happen. And then we're going to infuse new forms of technology. That's a lot of acreage.
Yeah.
And some of it is off the beaten path, and we're going to see an experiment on how well drones can complement police presence as well.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I can see it right now. They're going to spend billions of dollars or tens of millions on drones. They're going to have all kinds of difficulties, okay? You're probably going to have people trying to knock them out of the damn sky. And what good, I mean, don't get me wrong, is a drone good to have to watch over the neighborhood and stuff like that? Yeah, that's good, but what good is a drone, okay, excuse me, if you don't have the police presence to be at a certain point when, you know, you're looking at the footage and say, okay, we need somebody here, here, and here. I mean, I just think that it's going to be more money spent, okay, which is basically a band-aid on what's going on, when the real issue is, okay, it's not that you need more cops or more drones, okay? What you need to do is stop spending billions of dollars on these illegals coming in and just send them all back. And then use whatever money you have and resources to take care of the homegrown crime. But adding more drones, okay, spending more taxpayer money, and you're going to do nothing to evict these people out of the country. What good is that, especially when all you have is a catch and release system? But let's continue.
Well, I know that your message is that New York City is the safest big city, but this week alone, we've seen robberies in Central Park, a rape near Gracie Mansion, another rape on Coney Island. That indicates that crime is down. The stats indicate that. But your message to New Yorkers who are seeing this is what? Because this is giving them fear.
Something I've always said. You remember when I first came into office, when we were dealing with a 40% increase in crime and our homicides and shootings were up, I told the team and I said to the media, it's more than bringing down crime. People must be safe and feel safe. A lot of people criticize me for saying that, but that's the reality. And we know these random acts of violence, like the person who illegally entered our country, committed a rape in Coney Island.
Okay, now did you people catch that? He said the quiet part out loud. Everything he said right here contradicts everything that he's saying. Okay? I'm going to play it again, because there's so much to dissect in these two sentences that he just said that it's like, wait a minute. So you're admitting two things, but you're also lying at the same time. Listen again.
Down crimes. People must be safe and feel safe. A lot of people criticize me for saying that, but that's the reality. And we know these random acts of violence, like the person who illegally entered our country.
Okay, that's the first one. He said, like the person that illegally entered our country. Wait a minute. They all entered illegally. So it's only illegal if you commit a crime. You're only considered somebody that entered the country illegally when you commit a crime, and it gets notoriety where it's put all over the news. Okay, that's the first part. Now hold on to that. Now I'm going to go back just a little bit and listen to the second part.
Who illegally entered our country, committed a rape in Coney Island. These random acts.
He said committed a rape in Coney Island. I did a video on that, but you heard the news reporter say that there was also a rape by Gracie Mansion. So he's trying to make it seem like it's a one-off. What about the little girl that got raped in Brooklyn? What, a month ago? Month and a half ago? Back in June, I think it was? I did a video on that. Where the illegal immigrant, okay, held the little girl and the little boy in the park, held a knife, okay, a machete, to the girl's throat and raped her, where the guys in the grocery store, when they seen the news footage and seen who the guy was, if you remember, it was all over the news. They held the guy down and beat him up till the cops got there. Okay? What about all the other rapes? What about the attempted rapes that people have been catching on video, surveillance cameras on people's door cams and stuff like that in New York that has been going viral on the news? All done by who? People who enter the country illegally. So he just said the quiet part out loud, and I don't know if he caught that. And the reason why I said that, was he complacent right now when he said that because he didn't catch the words he used because he said them so quick? And if so, where is the main? This is why I'm saying that the mainstream media, they're probably thinking, oh well, he said that, but since nobody's bringing it up, now we can't get on his case for using the term illegal because Nancy Pelosi said not to use that word. If anybody remembers, Kathy Hochul, everybody on the left says that they're not illegal. No human is illegal. He just used the term, he entered the country illegally. He just used that phrase. When have you heard of another mayor or governor using that phrase? All they keep saying is asylum seekers, migrants. He just came out and said someone who entered the country illegally committed a crime. You can't make this up. These ain't my words. He just said it. But yet, there's so many people coming into the country illegally that are gang members, okay, that are criminals, that they're committing so many heinous acts, especially of rape and murder. Lest anybody forget what happened in Texas. Those two illegals, they came in and killed that poor girl, that 13-year-old girl, Angaya. They came in illegally. What did they do? One of them had an ankle monitor. Cut it off. What did they do? An hour after they met that poor girl, they brutally raped her and murdered her and dumped her body in the water. I mean, what happened to the illegal immigrant that they let loose, okay, in New York? He made it to Georgia and killed the college student. Raped and murdered her. You know, it goes on and on and on. Finally, he uses the term, came into the country illegally. What? Only when they get, you know, when it gets plastered all over the news? You're going to use that term? All the shit that's going on in New York, okay? All the crime in the hotels, all the illegal migrants that are sitting in the streets, that are in the hotels, that they're putting on Randall's Island, that are committing crimes, that are starting gangs, they all came into the country illegally. All the money that you're giving all these illegals came into the country illegally. All the money that you're taking from people in New York, the taxpayer money, the billions and billions of dollars that you're investing into these people, they came here illegally. How come this isn't plastered all over the news, what he just said? I don't know, people. Let's continue.
Violence, they play on our psyche.
Yeah.
But when you look at the stats, it's very clear. We're the safest big city in America, and we're going to continue to drive down crime. Double-digit decrease in homicides and shootings, the major crime categories. We know we have to continue to make sure that we stay the safest big city in America, even with these random acts of violence that we're seeing.
First of all, they're not random acts of violence. Look at the two NYPD cops they got shot. Look at all the video in Times Square of all the gangs of illegals committing crimes, the way they're robbing stores. I mean, it's all over the news. These are not random acts. Okay, this is a crime wave, and the sooner that he uses that term, crime wave, okay, the sooner and the better it will be, where everybody will say, okay, now we're all on the same page. The quiet part has been said out loud. How do we take care of this crime wave? Because these are not random acts of crime. I showed videos of how in New York you have all these illegals opening up shop, selling food and all that, and now the city is trying to tax them. So you have them opening up random food stations. Stores are getting looted, okay? They're taking those products and they're selling them out in the street. It is a repetitive third world mindset. And it's going on and on and on. And he keeps saying that it's the safest city. But yet down here, the NYPD, who he's supposed to be a part of, even though he's the mayor, is saying overall major crime up 46%. And this is just in Central Park. And it says so far this year. That's just in Central Park. What about all the other boroughs? What about in the Bronx? I mean, there was another news report that came out where they caught two guys in the Bronx that were trying to dump a body, that had no limbs, and they traced it all the way back to an apartment. Now, obviously, they didn't say that those two guys that did that were illegal, but it is part of crime. So whether it's someone born and raised in America or somebody that came here illegally, crime is not down. Crime is up. Plain and simple. Crime is up. Okay? And when you couple that together, how do you say that crime is down? You can't put two negatives together and say that, oh, that's a positive. That's not, I don't get it, but let's continue.
Well, Mr. Mayor, can you just kind of explain something to us? Because you were on this show with Bianca and I a few months ago when women were randomly getting attacked in Central Park. Yet we saw a massive show of force today. I mean, why does crime have to get so bad before there's a major response?
Exactly.
I mean, why not a couple months ago? Why is it always feeling like it's damage control?
No, to the contrary. As I shared with you, we had a 40% increase in crime when we took office. And I gave you the stats on how well this city is doing. Always want to do more when it comes down to these random acts of violence. But I also want to be clear with New Yorkers. We don't have the police personnel that we've had years ago.
Yeah, and whose fault is that? Whose fault is that when you got district attorneys and you got the governor and you got the mayor and you got AOC and you got all these people saying, vilifying the cops? Okay, so you're saying that crime was up 40% when you took office. You can't prove that it's down. And once again, I'll bring it out again. The NYPD is saying that just in Central Park alone, so far this year, crime is up 46%. And then you're going to go and say, well, you know what? It's because we don't have a strong police force. You've tied the hands of the police officers to do their job. You've tied their hands to go right now and take all these illegal immigrants and work with ICE and work with Border Patrol and say, you know what, let's get all these people out. You wouldn't have this damn problem if you didn't open up your fat freaking mouth and say New York is a sanctuary city. Okay, what you should have came out and said was, no, Mr. Biden, okay, we don't want all these people here. You need to do something about the border. Oh, I'm sorry. They should have went to Kamala Harris, who was supposed to be the border czar. Do you see this? It's not even a double standard. It's just, and I've said it before, that the Democrats contradict themselves and they eat themselves. It's like, do you even hear what the hell is coming out of your mouth? Do you even understand what the hell is coming out of your mouth? Let's continue.
We're struggling to fill academy classes. We're struggling with our correction officers. We have code red there. We're struggling even with district attorneys. We have a real problem in the city and country and our criminal justice apparatus. And so we would love to have a police officer on every block. But
and not only did he just say in the city, he said in the country. Yeah, no shit. And especially in the blue states. And why? Especially, I'm not going to say especially in Texas, but in a way they do have a problem because they're not getting help to secure that border. So yeah, you're right, there is a problem. Okay? And it's not because people just don't want to do the job anymore. It's not because people don't love this country or love their neighbors. It's because you Democrats have tied everybody's hands behind their back. You guys did this. Like I said before, you guys bred this baby, you fed it, and now you don't want to take care of it. But this baby knows who its parents are. Let's continue.
Reality is when you're dealing with terrorist threat, you're dealing with thousands of protesters and marches, particularly after October 7th, and you're dealing with a host of other events. You have a minimum amount of manpower, and you have to be smart how you deploy.
Let me ask you something about that.
Yeah, and if you would just let the police do their job, if you would put down an ordinance, if Kathy Hochul would come out and say, you know what, listen, you guys want to peacefully protest, fine. But look at the way you let all these pro-Palestinian protesters just rampage through New York, taking down the American flag, burning the American flag, raising up Palestinian flags, breaking storefronts. I mean, just causing crime, attacking random people. Who was supposed to take care of that? You didn't give the citizens the right to stand up in arms and say, you know what, we're going to protect ourselves and fight back, because that's illegal. In this day and age in America, a regular American citizen cannot protect themselves from somebody who is posing a threat. But you see, does anybody see what I'm seeing? The way this man is talking, he's making it seem as if, you know what? People in general just don't care. This is the problem. No, you have made it, even though people do care, you've made it hard for them, okay, to air their grievances. You've ignored what they're asking you to do. Just like in Chicago, they're ignoring whatever they're telling Brandon Johnson. Brandon Johnson is ignoring them right in their faces. I mean, I don't know how many more town hall meetings they could have. Okay, the video I put out yesterday in Colorado, the mayor is not listening once again to the constituents, and look at what's going on with the Venezuelan gangs taking over these housing communities. It's not that nobody cares. It's not that you're losing grip up, that nobody wants to fill the ranks and take these jobs and protect and help you protect. You don't want them to. Every time they come with their grievances, you ignore them and just keep giving more and more and more to, like he said, the illegal criminals. Let's continue.
That because you're saying we may not have the staff, but we do have the law. When it's enforced, obviously it would make us feel safe. Because we're talking about someone like Daniel Martinez, an illegal Venezuelan who has gang ties, arrested 22 times, 22 crimes in 6 months, has never been deported. What happens then? Because you're arresting these people, but obviously it's not preventing them from committing more crimes.
I'm so glad you're saying that, because you've joined the choir. I've been singing this song for some time, and I actually wrote the song. When you look at who assassinated and killed one of our officers out in Rockaway, Jonathan was shot by someone that was arrested over 20 times. Here you have a person that illegally came into our country, committed a sexual assault act, was released and came back and did it again.
And he said it again. Someone who came into the country illegally. How come everybody's not jumping on this is beyond me. He just said it again. So if you're saying that person that committed the crime came here illegally, you've won half the battle. Duly noted. But what everybody has been saying is that you need to stop, you need to push all these people back because they all came here illegally. And they're not being vetted, and within their ranks, the criminals are coming with them. So adding millions upon millions upon millions of dollars more, okay, and asking the public to please say something, that's not the solution. What the solution is to push all these people back, to go to your president, your vice president, and say, you know what, I stand with the people of New York. We don't want any more people coming here illegally. We want all these people out. We will not spend another penny on trying to help them. But that he won't do. And that right there is where lies the hypocrisy. Okay? Let's continue.
I am clear that we need to look at our laws that allow a person not to be turned over to ICE after they serve their time for a violent felon. I don't believe we should be allowing them to be a safe haven and continue to prey on innocent New Yorkers.
You know, speaking of the migrant crisis, I mean, we've seen a rise in violence at many of the shelters across the city, most recently Randall's Island. Now, you said that this will not be tolerated, but what's being done to address that crime?
Well, we have several shelters like the Herc. We have Creedmoor, we have Floyd Benefield, we have what you're looking at on Randall's Island. You look at these locations, you're having 3,000 to 4,000 people located in a small area that they cannot do anything but sit around all day. That's a recipe for disaster. I've been saying that for over 2 years now.
It's a recipe for disaster. No shit, Sherlock. Once again, you went and took all this effort, all this money, all this space, you gave it to illegals. When all you had to do was say, no, New York will not be an illegal sanctuary city. Send them all back. But you didn't, so it falls on you. You accepted them with open arms. You let all the NGOs accept them. You let all the religious organizations accept them. You let all the immigration organizations help you bring them in. What did you think was going to happen by bringing in all these people? And here's another thing. He's going to say the amount, which I still think is a low number, a low number, but he's going to say the amount, and it makes people wonder. So they've been lying from the get about how many people illegally have been brought into New York. Let's continue. Here, listen to this.
That we need to give people the ability to work. We need to allow them to take the next step on their journey. We have been successful in what we're doing. Our population in our care is now down to about 65,000 out of the 212,000 that have arrived at our city. And so,
did you hear that? 212,000. 212,000. Okay. So it's like, wait a minute. So you just set the number out. 212,000 that have came in. 65,000 are still trying to figure it out. Where's the rest? How many of those did you actually send back over the border? Something told me, if I had to guess, maybe 100. Okay. Let's just even say 10,000. Where are the rest? Where are the other 120, 30,000? Where are they? Where did they go? And this is just from New York alone. Never mind Chicago, Colorado, California. Where are they? Oh, I'll tell you where they're at because I see them. Okay? You're scattering them around the United States where they're not wanted. Okay? And you're going to come here and make it seem like, oh, well, we're trying our best. You know, it's with all these crowded conditions, that's a bad recipe. It's a bad recipe from point A, which is the border. But now it's a bad recipe? No kidding, it's a bad recipe. While the constituents, the voters in New York have been protesting about it for the past 3 years, we don't want this. Did you listen? No. You opened up more areas for them to stick them in with no way of them getting jobs. You keep saying the same thing. You got to give them a path to working. Okay, what they want is for them to be absorbed, so that they could be what? That's right, your next voter base. Nobody's blind. Let's continue.
So we have to continue a law enforcement presence, send the right message to those small numbers who are violent. Overwhelming number want to go on with their next step.
Let me ask you a question, though, because the migrant crisis is now costing the city almost $5 billion. This is according to city stats. When you look at what we're spending on New Yorkers who need affordable housing, that's $2 billion. So right now we are not prioritizing New Yorkers who live here and need homes. We're prioritizing illegal migrants. What are you saying to people that are like, this doesn't work for our budget? And I know you've said this before, that you do not believe that migrants should be added under that umbrella clause of the right to shelter. That's been held up in courts. Where are we at with that?
Okay, first let's go back. I'm not prioritizing migrants over New Yorkers, and I think that's a myth that needs to be dispelled. Migrants are living in tents with outside facilities. We have broke records on the amount of affordable housing we built for New Yorkers and invested $26 billion. No other administration has done that before. I can't stop buses coming in. Federal law doesn't allow me to do that. City law tells me I have to feed them 3 meals a day, house them, educate 40,000 children. City law also states that I cannot have them removed when they commit a crime. I can't break the law to fulfill the law. We need to look at these laws that have
which is being held up in court, right? So where are we at with the right to shelter? That law is being held up in court right now. So where are we at with that?
Well, we have been able to, based on what the judge's ruling, we've been able to put in place the 30-day rule, which has never been put in place before. We treat migrants different from long-standing New Yorkers. After 30 days, single adults have to move on to the next step of their journey. That was never in place before. We were able to get that settlement in court.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Okay, everything he just said is a total crock of shit. Okay, because you're talking about that we're not taking away from New Yorkers. Yes, you are. All that money that's been allocated that you could have gave back, at least in tax breaks, to New Yorkers, to the taxpayers, you didn't. You wind up going by, I can't break the law because the law says that we got to take them in. What law is that? You can override those laws. You and the governor can override the sanctuary city law. Don't make it seem like it's a federal law, because it's not. You guys make that choice. You guys make that choice. Many other states and many other cities and many other counties have come out and said, you know what? We're not recognizing sanctuary city laws, and they're doing it. They're not recognizing it. They're taking care of it. You guys can do the same. But now you're gonna be this damn weasel, okay, and hide under that and say, well, we can't break the laws. But wait a minute, you're all in cahoots with this, okay? You're all in cahoots with it. You know you can stop it, but you won't. And why? Because you know that it's your new voter base. That's why. And he just says something else right here. Let me jump on this real quick. Hold on.
30-day rule, which has never been put in place before.
Right here, that 30-day rule, saying that once they do their 30 days, they got to go and move on to the next journey. What do you mean move on to the next journey? Move where? There is countless video out there of people on the ground, boots on the ground, asking all these illegals. And what do you hear all the time? Is that, yeah, after 30 days or 60 days, they're sent to another facility, and then they gotta re-up the paperwork again, okay? So like that, they get sent back to either a different facility or the same one, and it's the same thing all over again after 30, 60 days. So it's just a revolving door. You're just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That's it. That's all you're doing. The same thing they're doing in Colorado. These women with children are saying, oh, I got 60 days to move out, find a way, but then they wind up sending me to another facility, and I start the paperwork there again, okay? And then they move them on to, either to the next place or the same place that was there before, or when they keep coming on and saying they got to continue on their journey. Where? Continue on their journey where? Is that out of your state into another state? So you're basically, because that's what it seems like, you're basically passing the buck onto other people. So the problem is that, you know what? All these mayors and governors that are for this are saying, you know what? We're overwhelmed, we're trying, but we're not getting help. Okay? You already know in the red states, they don't want this problem. Okay? But it's only in the red states that are saying, you know what? Send them all back. The blue states are like, we can't do that. Our hands are tied. No, yes, you can do that. Okay? Yes, you can do that. It's about going to your boss and saying, you know what, boss? Just like in any company, if you don't give us this, this, and this, we're going to strike. But the people in the blue cities and blue states, they don't want to strike against their boss because they want those votes. Okay? They want to change the demographics. That's what it is. But let's continue and finish this off.
Or we treat migrants different from long-standing New Yorkers. After 30 days, single adults have to move on to the next step of their journey. That was never in place before. We were able to get that settlement in court.
Really quickly before we go, Mr. Mayor, you're heading to the DNC next week to talk about immigration. I mean, this is an issue that VP Harris is not so hot on. What's your message going to be?
Well, the message to the DNC is more than just immigration. The things that are facing Americans in New York is affordability and public safety. Those are two huge issues. I think that we have to secure our border and come up with a real plan of allowing people to be disseminated throughout the entire country where we have population problems, but at the heart of it...
No, it's not about disseminating people into the entire country. It's like, you have to understand what, see, and he just said it again, the quiet part out loud, is to try to get with the Democrats and talk about the economy and security. Two things that you people are in charge of, and don't say you're not, because in Florida, Governor DeSantis, he makes those decisions and he gives the money back into the people. He invests in Florida and he keeps it safe by trying to keep illegals out and keeping crime down. He's doing that one man. You're making it seem like you can do it, which is a crock of shit. Okay? The second thing is him saying the quiet part out loud is that they're disseminating the illegals throughout the country. We don't want them throughout the country. So there you go, imposing, okay, your belief, your stance on it. Okay, once again, you didn't listen to your constituents in New York, and now you're not listening to the constituents around the country that are saying, wait a minute, don't go to that DNC convention talking about how we're going to disseminate all these people around the country. We don't want to hear that bullshit. I know I don't. And I speak for tens of millions of Americans. But that's what it's all about, people. See what they're doing? It's all about the vote. It's not about doing what Americans want. Because if they did, we wouldn't have had this problem back in 2021. When Biden took office, he wouldn't have cut down all of Donald Trump's policies. He would have kept them in place. We wouldn't have this mess. But he's saying the quiet part out loud. So either he's complacent, or he's just too damn stupid, or this is a tactic that they're using to make it seem like, you know what, we're against it. But if you're against it, Why aren't you doing something about it? The number one thing to do about it is to just round them all up and send them back. Okay? I'm not talking about the ones that have been here already 10 years, that are on the right track, that are trying to do the right thing, the ones that have dual citizenship, the ones that are probably a year away, okay, because they've been doing the right thing. We're talking about the ones since day one that Biden took office, from that moment on. Now, I don't want to talk too loosely because others have come in before that, but we're going to have to go back to that also. But the fear tactic that they use is that when Donald Trump says that when he gets back into the White House, he's going to start a massive deportation campaign, they're trying to use the fear tactic saying, oh, he's going to get rid of every single one. No, that's not what he's talking about. He's talking about the giant influx that has come in, starting especially with the criminals. There are others that have already been here that are trying that are in the process, that are doing the right thing. But they're trying to say, well, you know what? He means all of them, which means that none of them are illegal, and now we got to try to disseminate them and spread them all out throughout the country, because nobody's illegal. But he just used the term illegally, entered the country illegally, what, 2 or 3 times in the video? Which means what? That they're all illegal. You can't make this up. Like, I don't, how nobody can look at this video and look at this man and say, like I said, did you even understand what the hell you were saying? I'm telling you, it's mind-boggling, people. Let's continue.
Is allowing people to work. That's a precursor to the American dream.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me go back, because this is what he wants. Let's go.
Those are 2 huge issues. I think that we have to secure our border and come up with a real plan of allowing people to be disseminated throughout the entire country where we have population problems, but at the heart of it is allowing people to work. That's
You see, allowing people to work. That's what they want. They want them to be absorbed into society. They don't want them to leave. He's saying the quiet part out loud. So by you not wanting them to leave, that right there should tell all your voters, all the constituents in New York, which they already know, okay, but the mainstream media is trying to ignore it, that, you know what, you don't want this problem fixed. What you want them to have is a pathway to citizenship ahead of everybody else that's come to this country and has done it the right way. No, you guys want this by hook or by crook. You don't care who gets hurt. There's not enough people in this country that can get hurt for any of you people to care. Because that's not what you care about. What you care about is having as many that can come in, you give them as much as you can, and then spread them out throughout the country, so you could do what? So you can start flipping red states blue, and all you can have is a blue power grab in America.
Precursor to the American dream, your ability to work.
All right, New York City Mayor, thank you so much.
Yeah, the American dream, the ability to work. That's everybody's dream, to have the ability to work, save money, buy a house and stuff like that, or just live in, in peace and harmony. But you can't come out and use those terms, because you're a damn hypocrite. A damn hypocrite, because like I said about these sanctuary cities, what about the sanctuary for the victims? There's never sanctuary for the victims. But they want sanctuary for everybody else that has come in, like he said, illegally. And I'm very surprised, because he is the only person that I've seen that has used that term, because you're not going to hear of, all they say is migrants, asylum seekers, migrants, asylum seekers. Nobody's illegal. He used the term came into the country illegally. So what, it's only when he says it that it's okay? It's only when it fits the narrative, because all the crime is out in the open now? No, man. That's not how it works. And he should not get away with everything that he said and make it seem like, you know what? Yeah, he's right. We stand by him. No, that's bullshit. Everything he said is a crock of shit. It's bullshit. Okay? It's wrong. Plain and simple. Now, these news reporters basically, gave him the business, I guess, as best they could. Okay? But did they really come down hard on him to, make him contradict himself? I don't know. I really didn't see it. It should have been a little tougher. Okay? But I'll give him that much. At least they brought up, a lot of the key issues. But he basically contradicted himself. He ate himself, something that the Democrats are very good at doing. And they're still doing it, and Kamala Harris is doing it the most. Okay? Now she's on a rant talking about, oh, that we're going to start giving first-time home buyers $25,000 up front so they can get their first home. Who the hell is going to build all those damn houses? You're going to give a ton of money away for houses that don't exist. What do you think? 100 people in the country is going to take that? Every person and their mother that has decent credit is going to try to jump on that. But where's the housing? Not everybody's selling their house. Okay, you sell one, you got to be able to buy another one. That's like me selling my car and still trying to drive to work with no vehicle, and I work 15 miles away. That's not how it goes. I sell one vehicle to buy another vehicle. Okay, you sell one house to buy another house. If nobody's building houses, why would you make a promise like that? I'm telling you, the Democrats, they eat themselves. It's retarded. It's insane. And in my opinion, it's not complacency. It's by design. They throw out all this jargon. They throw out all this smack, and a lot of people eat that crap up. They eat it up like, oh yeah, this is a great thing. No, use common sense. Nothing he said made sense. Nothing that she's saying made sense. Nothing Biden has done has made sense. Okay? None of it. This is why we're in the mess that we are. Okay? And it needs to be exposed, and it just needs to stop, because we're getting nowhere. We're getting nowhere, and innocent people are paying the price. And it doesn't matter on what side you are. Like I said before, criminals don't ask who did you vote for and who are you voting for. That's not how it works. Okay? That'll be like a bank robber walking into 3 or 4 banks to see who has the most, and then he's going to rob the bank with the most. That's not how it works. You're a bank robber, you're going to rob any damn bank where the doors are open, where you have an opportunity. That's what criminals do. Okay? So all you people on the left that keep leaving me nasty messages, calling me a liar, saying that everything I'm putting out is bullshit, no. You need to understand all this can happen to you too and the people that you love. Okay? Don't think for a hot minute, like I said, that a criminal gives a flying rat's ass who you vote for. Okay? You're the target, you're the money, or whatever the case is. That's it. Plain and simple. But anyway, that's what I got for you. Don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, pass the channel around, give it a thumbs up, hit the notification button. Another thing, check all your subscriptions, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Like I said, there's supposedly something wrong with the algorithm where people are getting bumped off. Subscribe again if you have to. The 2 new people, you know who you are if you subscribed to my video last night. Like I said, I don't see it on my subscription count. Send me a message telling me it's you so I can give you a shout out, welcome you to the family. And if you can help support the channel, there's a link in my description to my Cash App and my merch store, and also the links to my friend Josie and Loza Alexander's Give, Send, Go and GoFundMe campaign. So remember, people, stay vigilant, keep praying for each other, keep praying for the women and the children, pray for this country and your enemies, and pray for Donald Trump. Peace.